Welcome back, everybody, to day 6 of Masters Madrid. I'm your host, Yingsu, and I'm back on the desk with Mimi and HyperX. We've had our first regional rematch already, and let's get into the second. It is America Sentinels versus Loud, and I believe, Mimi, the matchup that you're very, very excited about.
Yeah, this one's going to be fantastic. It went all 5 maps in the finals in America. Sentinels pulled it off there against Loud, but Loud has really leveled up at this event thus far. It should be a great match again.
Yeah, I think so. A couple of stumblings along the way. It is a concern for me that Loud have already kind of shown some bad tape here. Obviously, with the permaban even being shown here now, Breeze, there's no questions left over their map pool.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the same 3 maps before in the first match of the regional, but I wonder we're going to get that again here. But the thing is, HyperX, as you would know, Sentinels have played an obscene amount of games coming into this tournament. They continue to do so here in Madrid.
Yeah, a lot of tape, obviously, to go through. An opportunity there for Loud. They've already shown that you know, they're willing to switch away from some of these Phoenix compositions and pull out a curveball and change something up. So there is actually a real opportunity with the break coming into the playoffs. Loud, I don't want to say in terms of prep, but have the upper hand in that regard.
They played less maps than some of these teams, but remember, they were playing back-to-back. It was something like 12 hours of prep between playing Heretics to then play KC and beat them, and it was the same in Americas. They played more rounds than the rest of the teams in America's playoffs combined, but finally, this team has had a bit of a break ahead of playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, this break is going to be very, very important for them as well. And speaking of that, here is what Coach Kaplan had to say right after they secured playoffs.
I cannot wait to sleep. It means a lot. It's been really hard to have such a quick turnaround. We showed everything we had pretty much in kickoff, and it's we didn't have a lot of turnaround time to deal with that strategically, right? Especially even with scrims or jet lag. There's just so many challenges. So having some time to breathe and be better equipped to handle opponents studying us is a huge relief and a confidence boost for the games ahead.
I mean, this is the thing. They've already achieved everything so far without that a little bit of a break. So how much stronger do you think Sentinels are about to be?
I think they're going to be really strong. We've already seen, even with the low prep time, how good this team is at counter-stratting. Against both Heretics and KC, I think the squad came in with really good game plans to fight forward, to punish their opponents' tendencies. I think they're really good when they have even more time. And we saw that in Americas. When they went into playoffs, they further leveled up. This is a squad that really take that effort to study their opponents and come prepared to a match.
Yeah, and I think the individual performances here, Sassy a little bit of a concern, but I think if there are going to be any change to the composition, the way that particularly Zek and Tens are both performing individually, there's room there to put them on anything potentially, and outside that, John QT as well, individually standing up so far here in Madrid.
Yeah, let's talk about Tekken here, because we say, yeah, Tens and Zek and Tekken.
Okay.
We've been kind of debating, you know, rookies here and there, but there is no debate when it comes to these two. Mimi, they are just the best right now in this tournament.
Yeah, both these guys are looking like top 5 players in the tournament, and they're on the same team. And the thing is, they're always playing together. These guys out of the server, they're good friends. Their teammates call them the kids of the team. They're always hanging out, and they're setting each other up together in the server as well. They're a very aggressive duo. You'll see them take risks, but the difference between them and maybe a team like HyperX, as a player like Forsaken per se, is it's always together, and it's always being really well integrated into John QT's system. When they go for these risks, when they go for these early fights, the rest of the team is calling around that. They hear Zek and say, hey, I want to make this play. Tens knows how to set him up, and the rest of the team adapts around that really, really well.
Yeah, and I think as well, just to double down on that, the support system here is really the difference. To have everybody here delivering individually, Zek and Tens being the ones to lead the charge, it's terrifying to have to go up against them in this sort of form.
I'm going to make Tekken a thing. But let's move on to the other side for Loud, because they had a slow start. But HyperX, as you know, even when they've had a slow start in the past, they always go really, really deep, and they manage to take it all the way sometimes.
Yeah, Loud have always just got this playoffs form that they seem to, it's almost like the trump card, the Uno reverse that comes out in the series that they need to deliver it. And I don't necessarily think they've shown that so far, but coming out and bouncing back the way they did with the follow-up series, we talked about obviously it being a bit of a concern, the loss to Gen G, but outside that, you still look back and you think, well, what series has Les been playing in? In particular, Les having another MVP worthy performance, and you look back at the series, you think, how's he doing that?
Yeah, and I honestly think that this team has leveled up yet again to a form where they can be a contender for a title. I think they worked out some of the issues they showed in the kickoff event, where they're playing these like Phoenix comps, it's not really working out. Here, I think they really narrowed down their map. They showed maybe some weaknesses on Breeze, but on the maps that they're committed to, their Sunset, for example, they've looked excellent. The strategy is really coordinated. Players have also leveled up. Quick in their last game looked so much better than the rest of the season thus far. This is a Loud that always wakes up the deeper they get into tournaments. It seems like they find the ability to hit the peak at just the right time in like every event.
Yeah, and I think as well that they've already shown here that they are willing to kind of detract away from the commitment to the Phoenix and Breach. They're obviously busting out the Euro in particular, but QCK's individual performance across all the duelists has been pretty incredible. I keep saying that nobody plays this much Phoenix and comes out looking like, you know, a great duelist or a great individual player, but somehow he's doing it.
Yeah, you guys mentioned Les already, who's also having a great tournament. I believe he is standing by with Mika Fabs. Take a look at this. Not just quite yet.
What about this?
What about this?
I want to look at this, because this guy's stats have been ridiculous this tournament, but they are every time. Les is the consistent member of this squad. With Osmus out of the team, he's the #1 guy you have to look towards. He's always playing Viper, but he's competing with the star duelists in every role. The guy's ridiculous, and if Loud is going to win a trophy here in Madrid, it'll be because he's keeping that up.
Yeah, that was Les. We got Les as well because less is more. So let's send it down to Mika Fabs.
Hey Les, I like that little groove you had going on a little bit back there. So you've been on the team for forever. You know how it's like when the team gets that synergy in order to win championships. I'm curious how this level of synergy has been from like the beginnings of this roster all the way up here to Masters Madrid. What's that journey felt like? We have Arthur here to help with some translation.
Oi Les, então, primeiramente eu gostei, você estava ali mandando uma vibe bem legal. A gente quer saber, você está desde o início com a galera, com o time, e agora com esse novo roster, vocês estão com a sinergia. A sinergia tá boa, como é que tá a sinergia de vocês agora até o campeonato?
A gente está começando a evoluir, né? Querendo ou não, tá no início do ano. A gente está com um jogador novo, staff nova, então a gente está planejando a longo prazo, mas estamos evoluindo aos poucos no campeonato.
Overall, step by step, we're evolving not only in the championship because we also have a new player. We're working on with like new staff as well. So I would say we're just on the way evolving because overall it's the beginning of the year as well.
Well, eager to see that next step. Keep that vibe going and best of luck.
Thank you.
No confiaron, pero mira, no. Llego con los míos y la grada explota. Le di la razón al que me quiso ver bien. Lo soñé en mi habitación y ahora en primera me ven. No te hablo del avión. Vine por mi cinturón. No confiaron, pero mira, no. Llego con los míos y la grada explota. No confiaron, pero mira, no. Llego con los míos y la grada explota.
These are two of the best teams Americas have to offer, but being here is about being the best in the world. And as it stands at this stage, it does feel like both of them have a great chance.
It's the new versus the old guard for Americas in this match. It's the third time they've played this year, and we're already into the veto, Mike. These teams have a lot of similarities in their strengths, and I think we're going to expect to see maps like Sunset, maps like Icebox that was just picked that both these teams love to play. This, honestly, what we're getting already is a bit of a rematch of that finals.
Yeah, definitely. Well, actually, yeah, with Sunset to round things out. Concern, massive concern to kick things off on Split. Obviously, two very polarizing results, obviously, regionally looking back at this, but last one being a 13-3. Sentinels absolutely slap Loud about.
Yeah, Split is far and away the best map for Sentinels that we have seen thus far. They look lights out on that. In particular, their defense, their protocols, the way they set up for the retake, everything has been on point. And yes, so much of it is Zekken, and so much of it is also John QT. It feels like his calling is perfect on the defensive side of that map, on how this team sets up. This first map's going to be a challenge for Loud.
Yeah, just how close do you think this will be, though? Because the first match we saw today, very, very one-sided, also what we expected. But HyperX, do you feel like it favors one team or another coming into this?
I'll be honest, I do give the edge to Sentinels here. I don't think we're going to have a very clear-cut series, though. I think Loud may be looking to reinvent themselves once again and have that bounce-back factor. I don't think this is going to be an easy run.
Yeah, the question for me is what has Loud changed? Because they haven't had to really show their split since that grand final. So there has been a bit of time to kind of look back, see what went wrong there. But even the best teams haven't been able to beat SEN there. I look more towards the rest of this pool. I think Icebox and Sunset, both teams are incredibly close on how they play. In particular, Icebox leads towards Louds. I really expect us to get a third map, to get Sunset, and that's so exciting because these teams are both excellent at the map, but with very different reads. One playing the Breach and the Phoenix, the other playing the Gecko composition. Both have these great retakes. Both have really cool ideas for how they take space on the map. Really hoping we get there.
Yeah, and I also, you mentioned a little bit of doubt perhaps in Sassy here, but HyperX, he's going up against Sadag. You know, they've been looking forward to this matchup for a long time. As we take a look at the Agent Select, how much pressure do you think is going to be on his shoulders?
Well, no surprise to see the compositions come out, but I do think it is a little bit concerning, Sassy's performance in areas. But I mean, you could argue again, it's another one of those familiar opponents, very, very comfortable ground, and obviously regionally, Sassy's performances were above what we've seen so far in Madrid.
Sentinels are starting on the attack. A lot of this comp is built around how in the mid-round they take space for Zekken. I think shutting down Zekken has to be a priority for Loud. He is looking like the best player in the event right now, and if he can keep that up in this one, if he can get the openers for Sentinels, give John QT those options in the mid-round, the way they've been able to for most of this tournament, it's going to be really tough for Loud to recover.
Yeah, well, I've just been told that Brand and Sideshow are in fact contractually obligated to cast every single Sentinels game. So here they are, over to you guys.
That's extremely true. We have so much influence and power, actually, over Riot Games here at the caster desk. But excited to get started. Well, our second match of the playoffs, and it's bound to be a barn burner. We've already had it, you know, a sneak peek of it, at least. In the regional finals, these two teams clashed, and they're kind of taking over that mantle now. You know, me and you, Josh, we were talking about it just before we got into the game, but, you know, you think of that Optic Core versus Loud matchup. That was, you know, El Clasico. And now maybe the passing of the torch over to this one. We've seen Sentinels versus Loud now many, many times so far in 2024, and it's always pushed both of these teams to great heights.
It's possible that we'll see it even later on in the playoffs too. We've yet to really discover which of these teams are going to be able to battle it out against each other and make it deep in a playoff kind of situation. Gen G looks scary. You do not want to be in the lower bracket if they end up down there at some point. Obviously, HyperX no pushovers either. But yeah, this is a really cool regional matchup that you have between these two teams. You know, last year we only had one regional title in Americas to fight over. That was Loud that ended up taking it away. This year with Kickoff, Stage 1, Stage 2, we're going to have 3 potential opportunities for regional fights like this. And then also all of the opportunities at Masters events or at Champions, where Loud and SEN, they're not just fighting here for the rivalry, but they both believe, and I think a lot of the fans do too, that they've got a serious chance of being able to win the thing.
I think every team does that's at this event as well. I mean, winning here in the playoffs, of course, you know, not in the danger zone just yet. There's not elimination on the line per se, but it does just, you know, stretch you ever so deeper into that tournament, into Madrid. Gives you a really decent chance as well of lifting that trophy, lifting that title, which, you know, every team here is looking to do.
Now that we've got a little bit of time too, just to dig into the map veto, it's going to be electric. You look at the opening map, the analyst desk has talked about it, and then Icebox, yeah, Loud won that in the 3-2 victory that Sentinels ended up putting up. But Icebox was close, man.
Really close.
And Sunset too. There's no guarantees that that goes the way of Sen again if we do end up going to 3. Sen need a good start here, but I think for Loud too, they cannot afford to just get battered as they did previously. HyperX was talking about that scoreline. It was devastating for Sen.
Early presence showed here by Loud into the main with the boombot, walking up behind the smoke. Looking like they want to fight through it. They've got a flash ready and waiting. Potentially, no, just literally egoing the smoke. But Zelsis is going to be holding for this one, jiggles it. Stray shots going wide here, might be calling for reinforcements. And so far, a little bit of damage done. It looks like just a 10's not a re-clear. Going to be called for B main.
And 10's prepping the paranoia in case this Trailblazer caught contact. It didn't. They've re-cleared B main, but not necessarily going to start taking that territory with bodies. Instead, looking forwards to the fight in mid. Kawanzine did not use a fault line at the start of the round, so he's still got that, but it's going to be a gunfight instead.
Yeah, just straight up. I mean, just dry into it, no kit being utilized. Again, want to face with the bodies.
And to be honest, I think that favors Loud. Yeah, they've lost the breach, but no smokes if they decide to go over and commit to B. And Loud are re-exploring down mid as well. John Cutie and Sewers.
Massive proactivity being caught here by Sadak, but, well, John QT left to do so much more there. Just the one before the trade comes through, but the B site now opened up entirely for them. Will be that plan. Sassy's out wide into the open. Could have been danger there, but the nade, I guess, staves it away. And a call is made to try and fight into the spawn. Zelsis. Snakebite now being held, but he's got 3 targets to deal with. Luckily, Zell. Okay, Zekin right there. Vulnerable. Will he be able to get the damage? Of course he will. Followed up in the end with the Snakebite post-mortem.
I love watching Sen set up these kind of little plays. You could see it constantly when they were playing against the European teams in the Swiss stage, and they didn't want to offer them opportunities to go for retakes, where they would cook up some kind of post-plant aggression, and they've always got a different idea. That's the great part about this Sen team that took the offseason so seriously. These players now have just a depth of micro plays that they can add in. This one, a snakebite off contact.
Already seeing examples of both of these teams just trying to be proactive. Yeah, so that calling that mid-push earlier, fighting through into spawn. So I think what I said earlier, both these teams, they're going to be pushing themselves to brilliance. I think you might be seeing it. At least we certainly hope so. Les Korani open no man's land, so he will fall.
And I think what you're seeing, at least at the beginning of this game, is Sen taking a very slow approach. That's a big kill. John Cutie going down on A means that this side of the map no longer has any offensive threat.
Ooh, second reactions there. Fault line stunned up. Well, there it is. The classic damage coming through. Flash in the end as well, so Tens is shortly behind him with a flash repeat. Kawazine can't get too much more done. 1 player left. 2 years. Can't see too much danger in the round.
No. And Sentinels were forced to accelerate there once John ended up dying because they don't have information about what's happening on the other side of the map. But if you want to talk about info as it relates to these compositions, Loud constantly need to be jiggle peeking corners, need to be going for those proactive explorations. And that's going to incentivize Sen to play a little slower, to try to punish the jump peaks and see if they can get damage or kills that way, to try to punish the info pushes into mid, that kind of thing. And Loud can't always run around the map pushing on defense with utility because it just makes it so obvious where they're playing. It's a difficult comp to play on defense.
Might just get even harder as well when Sen end up swapping sides. They look like one of the better teams here at this event when it comes to their split. Largely due to their retakes. The fundies here for Sentinels though. Standard. The util being thrown out wide here for that ramp control early. Now setting their sights out into the A side. Sadak! Anchor in position. Tucked nice and tight and safe and really just buying time for the rest of his team. Where are the reinforcements? It was a molly into the smoke and well, damage has been done. Vulnerable up. Sets it up for an easy one for Zelsis. 3 versus 3.
Bit of a blunder there for Loud, offering Sen another opportunity to get back into it. Not planted for Heaven.
Spike planted.
Oh, and the pick goes down to... Now, Sassy is pretty far away, but I think... Yeah, I mean, look at the way that Loud are clearing this. They're expecting a reflank back up.
Holding. Usually going to be the bread and butter of a team like Sentinels, just trying to fight, scale for it. That paranoia, the timing on it. It's immaculate as soon as the nade comes through. Yep, just hearing it and tucked to the corner. Sassy removed. Taken out now, just 2 will stand, and it could be just a bit of random spray, a bit of random spam that saves the day for them. Celsius traded, pick going down. Tens, 1v1. Doesn't really have to gun for it as a bulldog, but will it be all bark or all bite? Tends to be the latter when Tens is wielding it.
Great clutch there. Enormous round for Sen to be able to pick up. The momentum piling forwards for Sentinels as they win the bonus and knock Loud's economy down. And what a fumble after Sadak's able to get a 2K at the beginning. And it's a 5v3. The stun just comes through a little too late for Sadak to be able to follow up on. And then the flood that comes out is late too. And they've taken a huge player advantage situation set up by their IGL.
Keep playing together.
Tossed it away.
Glimpses of the comms there as well. Keep playing together. Fundy's on show for Sen. Winning that bonus round is amazing.
And I do think that that's such a key. You know, Loud thrive against teams that opt into the individualism. You saw what they did to EDG.
Oh, yeah.
It was a massacre.
No chances, no gaps when they're playing against that. I mean, you can argue as well a team like Loud had a relatively easy path into playoffs. Only beating out the Chinese representatives at Madrid.
Neither of whom played that well in their games against Loud.
Put up a fight, really, did they?
But having said that, we know that Loud are an extremely good team when they're on.
Sassy feeling the danger there. The dog spotting out too. John is so
much
wide.
Info.
Yep.
That is so much info. John's like, guys, there can't be anybody B because they're all looking at me in mid.
Lucky to not pay with it with his life. Nade waiting for Loud. Could be some danger if they find a few initial picks rattled off maybe with the Sheriffs, but to use the Trailblazer early. Nade follows through with a snake bite exchanging, the handshake dropping down. Sadak was alone there. There wasn't really much to do with in terms of the follow-up. They have to face it wide though with the aftershock being played for. So much damage done to these Loud players. Positioning's known and noted, and so 3 survive into it with Zekken picking up 3s. 1 away now from the big critical ultimate on attack side. That showstopper is going to be putting in some work if he manages to earn it.
Yeah, and this is the problem once you start snowballing forwards. Loud are going to be 1 away from having a broken economy again, and Sen are starting to get up to key ults. Look how nice as well the Sentinels' utility usage is when they get into a plant scenario. Zekken's holding nade to try to deny somebody who might try to stop the plant, but he's also ready to throw counter utility with that nade as soon as the retake starts happening. They know how Loud are going to play, and they've already prepped the counter to stop them.
It's really one-sided affair. I want to see some bite back from Loud, really.
Oh, this is interesting. Zelsis went for an orb lineup that's all the way into mid there. You see how there's 2 Viper orbs layered on top of each other. And that's going to disincentivize what Loud have been going for. This is Sentinel's Viper orb in mid there. You're going to take a lot of damage if you want to try and fight mid. If you're Loud. And that's, broadly speaking, what Loud have been doing on this defense side so far. Only 4 rounds in, though.
Dog right on cue there, at the minute mark. It's going to be broken for a bit of that mid-round information, but only shown by the 1 player, so Loud still left scratching their heads ever so slightly in terms of wondering where this might land, but they are starting to guess now correctly with the Seekers. This will point them directly into the right targets.
Sassy's going to pick up the ult orb and get Seekers himself.
Seconds left. Which direction is this going to go into? They've still got 2 players planted into mid here for Sen, but the spike over towards A, they are struggling to get themselves in. Push and pull, ebb and flow of the map, not really working out in Sen's favor, and they need openings and they need options right now, maybe to be granted to them. A bit of spray with the damage, the bullets going wide, but this is such a difficult setup to break into.
20 seconds left.
What are they even going for here? Slowing it down, but really time is going to be the worst enemy. It's a team flash. John QT there, close to the corner, cut to wide. Satchel's through and over the top. Cabazine still anchoring. Tucked tight to the corner, Sassy planting the balls on the man to go for that one out wide for a heaven plant. The wraparound, now Zelsis becomes a key player in the game.
He's managed to pick up his orb and reposition it too, so he's got more control over towards heaven. So he's set to try to blind somebody playing elbow. Tensor's already repositioned up top.
There's no follow-up off of that flash. It's more Cabazine with the stun finally now to try and at least attempt that reclear, but you're going to have to be giving this one up. They don't have positioning at all. Zelsis is backed away, playing a really passive position. 10 spots it, backs away, not favored for that fight. And they've won out the at least critical ones. Now no mollies for Zelsis.
Les is
tap
holding
onto it. Les is holding for it and watching for it.
That was really nicely done there by Loud. Coming back in, they had so many different things that they needed to navigate. You saw that there was no follow-up on the paranoia. That's because they're expecting some utility in response or aggression in response. Look how good Cowanzine is at being able to deal with Zekken flying over the top of him too. Unless, as usual, the backbone when it comes to fragging, winning duels against Tens and Zelsis to shut the round down. That's where you see the slower pace of Sen get punished. If Loud are not going to give them things in the mid-round, give them openings to punish, you've still got to be able to make your own success with the executes at the end of the day.
A familiar setup. Doesn't look like there's the same Viper orb that's being thrown out.
No, not this time.
Not from Zelsis.
The other thing that's amazing about that Viper orb, though, too, is it keeps people in mid, because you could lurk through it.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be seeing that one come out to play a little more.
But the present show, though, now with a boombot.
Touch tips.
Yep. Handshake.
QCK
grouping up for A.
QCK and Cowanzine are really close to huge ultimates, too. So Loud being able to put that previous round on the board is just so huge for them to stop the bleeding. Everything was red.
It's a lot that could happen right here now with 50 seconds left. QCK Shows it, body checks the dog, breaks it down. Now he's one away from a large hold of his own. Onto Heaven control, but now here it is. Showstopper. Fault line to stop this one. Zekken was blind as anything. No way with the movement. Just evades capture. He's still low enough though. Tens now with a TP into the back of the side. That was not punished, and it is that full retake protocol, but already ramp control game for Loud. Look at them clearing that so damn proactively.
Meanwhile, Celsius is so far away from the rest of the squad, just trying to find the timing for a late lurk. He might be too late.
There's a kill. Here's a showstopper. Finally online. Rocket round towards the back. Sassy is dropped like a fly. Tens has to do the most now. He stands his ground and wins his one out. Kawazine falling out. Sadek though
It's
looked
been
into
slowed
this position
down.
to Molly to push him out of position. Zekken.
Celsius is here.
Finally arriving to the party though. Util in his hand. Sadek adjusts it and watching for it. Tens now 1v2. The double face is there. Terrific together. It's 2 years. His partner in crime, Mr. Sadak himself. So with that defuse online, that's going to be that second round on the board. And Loud starting to get a handle now in terms of how to tackle these A sites.
Yeah, finding the timing there to re-push ramp before Sentinels were anywhere near set up for it, right? Sen's general game plan is we're going to get to site, we're going to have some kind of post-plan idea for aggression, or a backup plan like Celsius going for that late lurk. But if you can find the timing between them going to site and setting up the next play, which Loud did, you can be very disruptive. And also, one of the big crucial factors in round 5 and 6 to Loud winning is that they just had players able to take ones and win duels. You saw Tens at the end there. We've seen him do magic in those positions sometimes before. But Loud is shooting back. Might sound reductive, but it's very important. Here's that same orb lineup, but this time it's just going to go straight into a pit. I don't think that's going to have the value that Celsius was hoping for. Kind of risky to go and retrieve it too.
Yeah. But it's really lost, isn't it? Can't really be reclaiming it unless you have a plan to re-clear, which is stacking bodies, don't get me wrong. Just hoping that a few stray bullets might land into the cranium of less, but he's tucked to safety, making sure the pit will stay up.
Scout destroyed.
If Sen get a read that Loud are playing heavy over mid at the start of these rounds, which they generally are, there's normally 2, sometimes 3 players there, Sen might be able to make an adjustment and go for more burst executes. But all of this is so based on having a read of what your opponents are doing in this match. And they will be changing it up compared to the last time they faced off.
Re-clear called, it looks like, was the dog John QT. He's been pushed forwards now, tucked. And there it is, kill, claimed, QCK, fault line. Definitely there, actually, laboured enough, but still, the trade online. The call's being made to try and speed up the play now into B, but already that util, look at it. I mean, the paranoia, the smoke drops down, cuts up the side, and with that lurk into mid, Sassy not rewarded for it. Tens has the spike here, looking eager potentially to take some fights here, but has to stick the plan now towards D4, but his team do have his back and more. Look at that! Coordination on display. Sadak creeping and crawling. He managed to weave his way into the site there while all that chaos was going on, but not enough to get too much more done.
And that was a tricky round for Sen to be able to convert. When John Cutie goes down over towards A, Sen are forced. Their hand has to go B. And Tui's knew it was happening. The Loud players were there, and yet Sen come out on top anyway. Celsius destroys that attempt to flood retake. Dodge the flash and pick up both players. Good job. Sen, they are running away with this a little now. Getting to dangerous territory. Loud put 2 on the board with some slow, nice retakes, but now the economy's broken again.
Yeah, strange, isn't it, how that ends up working out, but quite salvage. Will keep any of the money running. Keep smoke. Going to be disrespected, apparently. At least with the flash, they know that nobody's close, tucked to the corner. A lot of players now looking for a punish onto John QT. He's been noted that he plays here a lot, solo play. But they're just going to posture and pick up the orb.
And if they can find a pick on John Cutie and push him away, it'll create timings where Loud can worry about the rest of the map. And I think they've got a very good read that John is playing solo A lot. That's an expectation that maybe Sentinels can mess with a little, but at the moment, Loud have found a decent timing here to make a little bit of danger in the round. And the more the time ticks, the more you start to get worried in situations like this.
Absolutely.
Especially when we saw one of the rounds go down to only 15 seconds on the clock.
I think you can get really punished.
And Brent, the spike is going towards A, which is where Loud are going for their gamble stack. There are only 30 seconds left on the clock. Sen are quiet, but so far
30
away.
seconds left.
They're faking like it could be going towards B, blocking off Les's sightlines, but no one's budging.
No one's budging. Kawazin looks to be the contact for Paranoia play that's being held around the back now. The name flying forwards, close quarters, still doesn't win it out with a stinger, and the backside players are brutalized, eviscerated. Sadak goes for the flash repeat. Zelsi, safety in numbers.
What a swing and great dodging movement by John as well. Can Les pick this up?
V3.
He's been a monster.
He's got the rifle to do it still. There's going to be no gaps there, not with Sentinels. They know who they're up against.
And another round where Sen, it looks dangerous on the minimap. You see them walking into the trap. QCK even manages to get one. But everyone on Sen is playing really tight together. Making sure that they can trade, making sure the spacing's excellent. It is. Absolute sentiment. And they're running away with this. If you wanted to have an expectation coming into Split, I think it's a little difficult. Because the two times we've seen these teams play before, one was an extremely close split that Loud ended up winning, with Sadak just popping off at the end of the game to drag him over the line. And the other was a flattening. It was Sentinels just utterly, tactically dominating the game. And this is looking to me to be more like the latter. Obviously, the scoreline would suggest that, but the approach, the way that Sen is so patient around the map, dealing with everything that Loud threw at them. I think that time, having been the first team to qualify for playoffs, has been used very wisely.
Oh, yeah. Rest and rejuvenation. I mean, listen, I've seen these players wandering around the hotel, and the coaches, Kaplan and Drew. They had very dark bags under their eyes, but now they've finally been able to get some sleep.
And you saw there in that the shot of the stage, actually, Sadak popping off, making sure he's communicating what he wants to be adjusted heading into this. Tack timeout taken for Loud. Are they going to be able to find the adjustment that gets them a little bit of a cushion to work with? Because the economy has just never been in a good spot.
No. Really quite vital round coming up here, just because of what you mentioned, the economy situation. Is a deep fault line. That's just off the rip from Kawazin into market, but there wasn't really much to follow through with it. Looks like maybe it was just to set up B main control for 2 years.
Now look how difficult this is from Les and Kawazin's point of view. You know, when this orb goes up, it's very difficult to know if someone on Sen is just quietly taking the timing through. And so these A players have to be cautious, concerned.
I've got your trail.
Little portion of the round though, with a minute 10 onto the clock. You can see those Seekers offloaded, pointing in various different directions, but it doesn't really give Sen an indicator. They do know that a Mail is going to be free, or not Mail, but Ropes itself.
Yeah, that Seeker went a long way before it hit Kawazin over in A Heaven. So Sen have a pretty good idea that that path to A Heaven is fairly uncontested. And the dog here actually might give such bad information.
Broken.
It didn't see the second player of John QT. We'll see what Sen end up going for. Certainly relying a lot on the mid-rounding here from John, rather than having set game plans going into the rounds.
Sadak, Seekers of his own now, spotting all the way through into mid. Everybody bursting through. Now the snake bite. Used on the Q as he hears that Trailblazer. Where's the follow through now from the rest of the team? B main. Lost control of this one. There's going to be questions asked now of a lot of these Loud anchoring players. They want to give it up entirely. Don't want anything to do.
Yeah. That Paranoia thrown from Tens is lovely. Would have caught anybody over towards Rafters, and yes, the time is low, but look how devastating this looks to retake.
How do you do this now? Yes, you have a Rolling Thunder, but it's going to be utilized hopefully now to clear through into the bit. They've got this late lurk, the flying from Sassy, and yet he's caused all the distraction in the world, gets out with his life, close to the corner, cut him up, still John QT. Quality tactics, quality time now with the whole family as he's sat back into the spectator, CQCK forward. Now leading it with the team, but it's already wrapped around, so they got to expect the Sassy's there. No, it's a half clearance. Not enough, 2 years TP adjustment. He's on that high ground position, just propped up, but Les now needs to get more done, and he can't do it. It's going to come down to just a bit of spray and pray, but already time ticking, so 2 years, no chance in hell.
And it's another situation, Bren, where Loud cannot get any level of economic cushionry going. They're going to be knocked straight back down onto a low buy. And that adjustment, whatever it was that Sadak came into the round trying to inform the rest of his team, it did not work. They weren't ready for Sassy here in B Heaven, and they weren't ready for Sassy again once he repositioned into B main. It completely disrupted what Loud were going for there with the retake. The timing could not have been more perfect.
The way Sen are working this map, I mean, it's a masterclass.
Yeah.
Speed running it.
It really is. There was a lot of talk coming in based on their regional performances on Split that they might have the best split in the world. And, I was saying, be cautious. We haven't seen them play up against all the other teams in the world, but man, is it looking clean. I think the believers in the Sentinels split are getting their beliefs confirmed every time we watch it.
Yeah, now a heavy group up. The weaker buy here from Loud using that Trailblazer, trying to be fast onto the approach. Chance here, Zekken tries to adjust the spray, expecting players to swing from that left side. Tens evacuating, has a Paranoia still left to play for, but the mollies are really clearing him out of position. What's the call now for Loud? Looks like a pivot.
Yeah, very mobile though. They've made it feel like it's ramp and they're already pressuring the screens. There's still a trip here for John. And Stens is in their spawn where they buy guns.
They don't have a clue. I mean, they've just caused them to all just be looking backwards as well. Les didn't have any sort of idea. He was just watching in case it was in mid 2 years. One with a rifle, but no longer. Dropped to the floor, dropped to the deck. Les quite able to do it.
Yeah, and it's not really Tens that makes the round-winning play, but I think it was that Cypher trip coming from John. He'd popped it over towards screens, and I believe that's how Cowanzine ended up falling off screen. Zels has got a double spray down. Have a look here. Blinded up. Yep, hits the trip.
Oh, yeah.
And also gets QCK killed because he's right behind him. So it just gives the perfect timing and positioning for Zelsis to go for that spray. I mean, everything is working here for Sen. It must be devastating for the Loud morale. Bear in mind you have a full BO3 ahead of you, and you knew that you wouldn't be favored here, but it is still going to be mentally difficult to bring your spirits back up.
Hopefully have that experience in spades. Oh my, showstopper. Let loose there. There is the trade online from Kawazine. He followed up with the stun at least, but his high ground angle of 10s drops down, gives him the cues. Kawazine just taking a white peak by himself, man. Taking a fight by himself. Yeah, there's back up there, but heads have fallen, heads have rolled, and now maybe exactly what Loud ordered.
Yeah, player advantage situation, looking lovely for them. One away from a showstopper too. Sen, they're going to be able to get a plant down here. They're pretty certain that A is completely clear. They saw so many people fighting over mid. But this one is going to be tough, and Loud cannot afford to throw it away.
Yeah, just watching for it. Look at that. Loud. Great awareness, knowing that Sen are going to have to be playing a bit more proactively, making the moves into the post-plan situation. Sassy is the lone survivor. Gets shut down by his former squad.
And so Sen, for about the first time in this half, tried to do something fast at the start of the round. And that actually results in Loud getting the round win. Right? Every other round, we've seen Sentinels with a tortoise-like pace to the beginning of these, making sure that they are cautious, diligent about everything. And as soon as they step forward to try to take the fight, Loud are so happy. These players behind Zekken just got wide swung and minced.
Crucially as well, final round of this first half, the money's looking good, the ult's even better. The showstopper for QCK can play really much more aggressively now that he's got that one.
And the silver lining, if they can get to 4, if they can win a pistol, maybe it's doable. But they've got to be securing those wins.
Yeah, clean with the rounds that are available to them now. Viprorp does throw a lot of just chaos into the mix. I mean, look at the amount of Loud players. It's just gathered all the way into mid to watch it. They've got 3 players checked and ready.
Yeah. And Tens is still holding counter utility over towards B main. That timing was looking pretty good. Just.
Now that they've spotted the up though, the call's been made to contact in through B main. So Sen have just got themselves a freebie there. Can now utilize this. Ult forwards. The rookie goes wide.
No way.
And now no value to be found there. Out wide once more. Still QCK's on a swivel. Molly's vulnerable him up. Pushed him out into the open. The easy collection of the kill. Now there's 45 seconds left. Chances to slow this one down, but it looks like Sen have no intention of it. Forward positions once more. Kawazine drops down from the ropes here, spraying down, but Tui's is disjointed from the rest of his team. Kawazine out wide. The reset. Oh, and Rolling Thunder lifts him up in the air, sky high, and then one player standing towards the back as a crossfire setup, and the aftershock is elite. Kawazine on for so much more. An ace on the cards, less to stick. This one comes down to the spam, but John is stunned. A tap, he's going to be out wide, he's going to be forced wide, knows it. Info gathered now, but another stick now. Less finally the trust maintained in his teammate, maintained in him, might be punished. A tap, out, force with a jiggle. John QT, balls of steel! What a clutch!
Kawanzin was forced to reload in the middle of that, and John took the timing as Kawanzin reloaded. Les was still on the spike. Unbelievable timing from John. And Kawanzin had done so much, more than anyone could have been asked to do. But the timing on that, of when to take the fight in the 1v2, was utterly superb.
It's perfection. God damn, absolutely unreal stuff. Well, we heard from John earlier. Let's find out what he was expecting coming into this matchup.
Hello, I'm John Curie, and I'm the IGL for Sentinels. We definitely did a lot of mistakes, and we looked rough. We've had 2 rough days, but we made sure to rally the team, everyone stay focused on the goal, and we won 2-0. I watched a lot of their VODs. I even came here and just spent all my time watching Split and Lotus. I've noticed their patterns and what they like to do, what's their tendencies, so it wasn't that hard to kind of guess what they were doing. I like to tell my teams that the devil is in the details. Just small things that adds up and create that big thing that will make the difference.
All grouped up right towards the back TP on top.
That's amazing.
This man is terrifying.
What an angle to find.
All the way forwards, Judge in hand, Shin. It's away with it. Still, reinforcements arriving. Narrate can't withstand it though, the pressure. It's too much, it's immense. This man is a thing of nightmares.
The mobility, the confidence, both working in tandem. He's on for the ace.
Obviously, the team has been through very lows after the 2021 Reykjavik, so it hasn't been all rainbow and sunshine, but the fans still stuck with the team. Since I joined, I'm lucky to say we've only had high highs. We've won all of our off-season and VCT so far. So, everything is going great right now, but we're still process-oriented and goal-oriented. Even if we lose, we still make sure that to keep it consistent and not really worry about the comments.
Consistency is key at the end of the day. It's clearly working out for Sentinels. He was talking about it, time in the off-season, they've been winning a lot, but with that comes a lot of hard work. They've shown some of the most maps of any teams coming into the kickoff, coming into the entirety of this year, but part of that is just them honing these map pools, All the questions placed onto their split, why the teams keep letting it through. Well, the reality is, it's a middle ground map for most teams.
Certainly true. Loud have come into this perma-banning Lotus, and Sen's Lotus looks good. So that means you have to go towards this. So pistol round. Loud decided to take a ramp control at the start. Sen wanted to fight over mid, but there was nobody there. And Loud has still got some people really, really far away from the action.
Real fast refight. The stun. There's no connection there, so Les is able to just skip and hop away, but John QT is just this watchful eye onto it. There's a gap into the smoke. Maybe a bit unintentional there, maybe just a bit rushed from 2 years.
Sen are also expecting there to be more players on site right now. Okay, well, where are the other 2 players for Loud? They lost track a little bit of where Kawanzin and Tui's could be, and now they've lost a lot of map info too. There are still chances here for the Loud players to turn things around, but this silent jump spot, not going to be punished.
Comes down to a couple of obstacles, really.
And look at the rest of Sen. Tripled up, re-clearing areas of the map, trying to regain some information, making sure that they don't offer any 1v1s.
Yeah, methodical.
30 seconds.
The win conditions of Loud right now. Playing against it, slowly creeping forwards, making sure to regain some of that map control. No kill found onto Kawanzin. Less a chance, really, for him to bite back and fight back. Here it is. Return of the fire, 10s from the wraparound. 2 years running all the way through, he knows the time's against him, so pistol round does not go the way of Loud there. Sentinels, again, looking like just a map of pure domination.
Yeah, this could be extremely similar to the last time we saw these teams face on Split. As pure Sen domination. Sadak caught off guard by that one. And John picking up the 2K, it's just enormous. That paranoia, by the way, too, lovely from TenZ. They didn't know, as far as I'm aware, that Les was in that position, and TenZ just sensed that that could be dangerous.
Keep it up. Small windows, but
now Loud have got they've got to force. Right, you're down 3 to 10. You didn't win the pistol, you need some momentum.
All relying on this one. That full investment, no money left standing. Tripstow to stop them in their tracks as they try and take control of this. The dog broken before it even triggered into it. They do find it. Reface, Elsis, that is incredibly brave. Well, second following through with the bullets as well as Sting, and it's just a wide Bit of a gap there still. Sentinel's fully aware of all potential possibilities right now. Sadak has been pushed forwards into this deep angle and approach. That trip broken, there was a chance of a timing.
Sassy's going to re-explore. He's very favoured in a fight against 2Es unless 2Es gets the jump on him.
No way, just the ghost doing work!
That's bonkers.
Yeah, it's got the one pick, but there's no real follow-up there with the players. I mean, they can't really react appropriately. Sends the util flying.
It's pulling Zelsis over. It is making the A site weaker here.
Second and John QT, though. Cam back online. It's going to be spotting the crossover.
30 seconds left.
There it is.
Camera taken out.
They'll be calling out now that they could have been compromised towards Spawn, but now time running against them. Loud, get a move on. Cages. Propped up, pushed up. Behind it, John QT can't follow through after that trip. There's a smoke in his face. It does make it quite dangerous, quite difficult. Still, it's a bit of run and gun in action. Only a few seconds remaining. Pull out the sidearm. Why not? And it gets the job done.
Really excellent teamwork and anchoring again there from Sen. Didn't have a cage for himself to be able to play inside of, but has a smoke there from a teammate. Somebody inside the smoke that he can spam off. Just really solid setup. Beautiful little team plays happening all over the place for Sen on this map. They've refined it so well. And Loud, that force smacked of desperation. Down 3-11 with only Sheriffs to work with. This one is a GG go next.
That's brutal. Really brutal.
And the other two maps here are going to be, even if Loud were to win them, very hotly contested. It's not like Loud have a map themselves that they are guaranteed to dominate on.
No, they've got a Sisyphus level fight ahead of them, honestly. Uphill battle. Icebox, both of these teams quite favoured on their attack side. Sunset, I would give the edge to Sentinels.
Yeah.
So even if you do win on that second map to extend the series, it looks dire still. Anything can happen. Team like Loud, being around the block, they might be down and out right now, but they have that experience to maybe rally themselves here. They need a few more, though. Openings not going to be given to them. Defensive setup for Sentinels just a little bit too strong, too well honed.
Yeah, everything looks... They've crossed every T, dotted every I. You heard John talk about it too when he said the devil's in the details, right? What makes a team excellent is not just the macro, not just the shooting, but it's all the small things, the little interplays between players, the maximization of, you know, a certain piece of utility, knowing to always smoke this spot or knowing to always throw this nade in this particular way. And on split here, Sen approaching some levels of perfection on this map in the current meta. They are ahead of the game here.
True flattening.
And it's going to strike fear into the hearts of anybody else, because if you have a perma, you have to let this through.
Yeah, playing split against Sen, I mean, almost guarantees. Yeah, Sentinel's going to be taking it. They've only lost it a handful of times. One of them to this team that they're playing against now, Loud, but Sentinel's the kind of team getting knocked by their losses. Reclearance called here with a flash and a paranoia. Well,
good counter flash.
Good one, yeah, from Kawazine.
Yeah, very important counter flash there. Sen are trying to set up plays like this because they have looser weaponry to work with. The two Spectres, the Bulldog.
Heal up, squad. Here.
So we get to see a slightly more aggressive version of their setup.
So goes the ebb and flow of the map.
But there are still chances for Sen to win this round and just dominate with the same scoreline that they did.
Flash, rifle, bloody hell, that's a lot of damage in the retreat. Covered and watched for. Celsius just swinging wide, a bit of run and gun in the reaction. Called now from Loud. Into the site, will they be able to get the plant down? Looks like they will do so. Too much pushback.
There isn't very much retake utility here for Sen. Normally their retakes are amazing, but there's really only a boombot to work with.
Waiting for the right timings. I mean, the smoke up. 1 second here for TenZ. Going to be using it probably to block off one of the angles. Just jiggling for now. There it is, actually dividing up the site. Paranoia flying with the fault line. Time. Time to tick. A crucial kill. Zelsis falling on top heaven. TP forwards. Backside control, at least partitioning in it and trying to take it wide. Still with that util online. The aftershock does push him away. A time from John QT, but forcing the fights out into the open. The snake bites, plenty of util here. So Loud, really well played into that one. Just understanding how to play that fully, just using the util.
And it's officially now a closer game than it was during the grand final, where SEN won 13-3. But man, it doesn't feel much closer.
No.
Loosen up.
I mean, this round almost I'd say a givey, but
it was a bonus.
It was a bonus, you know. Yeah, SEN didn't have as much util available to them, but still, you know, Loud. One round at a time, it's all the way, you got to take it.
Yeah, and we've seen them pull off big comebacks before. And we've seen them lose leads before as well, but listen, we won't talk about that one.
We won't talk about it. We'll mention it a few times.
Look at the timing there. Just beautiful. Great read that Les was going to go for an aggro lurk.
Les dropped. I mean, this is your star player. This is a guy you're expecting to put up massive numbers, who's going to offset that mechanical advantage that a team like Sentinels might have with players like Second, like Tens. The desk was talking about it. When he's shut down here, your chances begin to dwindle. Drip in their face. There's no protocols at all to really deal with that one. Should have known it was there, surely, if they were walking all the way up. TP forwards, it is just being toppled and crumbled. All the opportunities in this round here for Loud. QCK with a nade does get the one onto Zelsis.
I mean, this spike is down in such an open position, though. It sends to close out.
And Sadak, it's inevitable, yeah, the double face in the air. That is one of the most one-sided maps we've seen. Two of our top teams here in playoffs. But Sentinels are primed and ready. This is a team angry. They want to go deep, they want to go forwards. They know they've had obstacles, they know it's been tough for them. But that was just a dismantling of the opening map.
I don't know whether Sentinels have, been talking to EDG and told them they'd get revenge, but they just stomped Loud in the same way that Loud stomped EDG.
Absolutely impeccable work. We'll send it to a quick break on the other side of things. Plenty more action where that came from.
Excuse me, would you mind taking a picture of us?
Oh, no problem.
Thanks.
Ooh, yes, problem. You need Verizon. Trade in that old thing and get a new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage, so you can take all the pics. So many selfies.
A preposterous amount of panos!
That means panoramic. And as many portraits of me as your heart desires.
How about none?
None, yeah, none feels right.
Trade in any iPhone in any condition and get iPhone 15 Pro and iPad and Apple Watch SE all on us. Only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.